Hello, viewers. My name is Omoyele Sowore. We're reaching you live today on SaharaTV, discussing one of Nigeria's most important issues at the moment. It is the killings in the Plateau, the Nigerian Middle Belt area, where recently there's been an outbreak of violence that killed over 100 people. What we did today, as promised, is to reach out to community leaders from both sides of the crisis, and we were able to bring to you today a Muslim leader and a Christian leader in the area. The Christian leader is, of course, Honorable Bitrus Kaze, and the Muslim leader is Kaze Muda Nawal, who used to be a commissioner in the Second Republic in Plateau State. So you're both welcome to SaharaTV, Honorable Kaze.
Hello, how are you? I'm fine.
Yes. Welcome to SaharaTV, Kaze Muda Nawal.
Okay, thank you very much. For the purpose of correction, I was a commissioner in the Second Republic in Bauchi State.
Okay, so you're a commissioner in the Second Republic in Bauchi State.
Let's go ahead.
All right. So let's just give a brief historical knowledge to our viewers today. How and when did the crisis start in this region that has now become it has become an international issue, as you all know, at this point? When did the crisis start? Can we start with you, Honorable Bitrus Kaze, as far as you know?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Probably before even I continue, I should like to correct my introduction. I might not qualify as a Christian leader as such. I am a Christian, yes, but I am a member of Nigeria's parliament, precisely House of Reps.
Okay.
And that doesn't qualify me as a Christian leader as such.
All right.
Having said so,
yes.
Well, the crisis has a very long history, but the recent history is that the first crisis that occurred in Jos occurred sometimes in 1994. And it was over certain political, certain pressures that occurred at that time. And the next major one that came up was in 2001, and subsequently 2004, and then 2008, and so on and so forth. That is briefly put.
Kaze Muda Nawal, what do you know about this crisis? When did you start your recollection?
Yeah, I think from what the Honorable is saying, he is quite correct, that all these unfortunate cases of Plateau started some time ago, like he said, and up till date, the problems are not solved.
What do you...
In my humble opinion, is, you see, the whole crisis must be looked at beyond just ordinary crisis, because you have to classify the just crisis into various segments.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, classify them.
Ahead?
Yes, go ahead, classify them.
Yeah, like one, you have to identify the causes of the crisis. And you have to also understand the impact of the crisis on the people and the economy of the people itself. And the role the government, both at federal and state, have been playing or doing over the crisis. And also you have to convey recommendations on how to end the crisis. You have to also appreciate the efforts of some non-governmental organizations established in Plateau State, like the Elizabeth Palm Foundation Initiative for Peace, who have been doing tremendously well. And under the present circumstance, what the state government must do or must have done to end the crisis within only 7 days. By all this I am saying, if you come to Plateau crisis without bias, the whole problem surrounds only two things: land ownership and indigeneship. No more, no less.
Honorable Kaze, do you agree with Kaze Muda Nawal that this is about indigeneship and land ownership?
Well, the problem of indigenship and land ownership is not peculiar to Jos. It is a problem that is a national problem in Nigeria. I spent a good chunk of my childhood in Borno State. My father worked there for 10, 15 years. At a point in time, I got admission into Ramat Polytechnic Maiduguri, and because of the same indigenship issue, I had to return home to Plateau State to pursue my advanced education career. So it is not, if you just limit it to the issue of land ownership and then to the issue of indigenship, I wouldn't say that is absolutely correct, because the Constitution itself defines a Nigerian as a person whose parents at the time of independence were natives and aborigines of an area that is mapped within what is now called Nigeria. So the problem of indigenship and land ownership, there are rampant land cases all over Nigeria, within villages,
Honorable Bitrus,
and so on and so forth. So I don't
Honorable Bitrus, what exactly do you think is the problem then? Can you define what you think are the problems in the area where these killings have been happening unabated almost in the last few years?
I have maintained, I give you a recent history, and I will give you an extended history.
Okay.
I have maintained, and this is on clear and verifiable records, that our forefathers, our parents, our forebearers fought jihadic wars. In other words, there was an incursion by jihadists to force our forebearers to become Muslims. They effectively resisted. And even the late Sadona of Sokoto, Sir Ahmadu Bello himself, has it on record, when he testified that the Borno Kingdom and Plateau peoples never fell to the jihadic wars. Now, I have said that jihadic pursuit has a modern interpretation, has a modern pursuit, and it has manifested in a way of trying to clinch political power, hook or crook. It has manifested in wanting to claim even traditional stool and traditional leadership of Jos. And that is why probably Alhaji said that it is a matter of indigenship and land issue. We know for sure that land issues are well settled in courts. It is not a matter of, it's not a subject of debate that will cause endless. We have land issues, even among us in Plateau alone. So, I mean, that is my view.
Alhaji, do you agree with Honorable Bitrus Kaze that there's a historical dimension to this, that it's an attempt to colonize the area religiously? That is the reason why the killing started, and it has only just merely transmuted by way of the latest war that we are witnessing and the latest crisis and conflicts and killings. Do you agree?
No, I don't. You see, the bottom line truth is one. You see, those have been crisis-ridden for a very long period. And that is a serious misfortune, because so many lives have been lost, so many properties have been devastated, and still a solution is not found. We as leaders, like the Honorable is saying, you see, we have to find a solution to the problem now. We started one with the bombing and burning of Jos Market, which was the best at that time in Africa. As soon as Jos, in the last 1 decade or so, is on fire, then people will the Birom-dominated local governments like Riom, Barikalade, and Jos East will again start stopping people on the road, killing people and doing all this, and later attacking the Fulanis. The Fulanis all the time have lived with the grandparents of us very peacefully all their life. It is honestly that the more you try to know about this case, the less you understand on the causes. Therefore, if you come back to the real truth, is no no reason beyond the earlier ones I have said. But the government have refused to understand or believe that no nation will develop and no tribe will develop, or no government will develop its people without other people coming to stay with them. Even let's take America itself. Even if if a woman gives birth on the airspace, in the airspace of America, that child becomes an indigent of America. And if you take China, you see China is also fast developing and becoming very accommodating. If you go to Dubai here, there is the marina, one area which they reclaimed and open to external people to come and invest. That is an Arab land, that's a Muslim land, but the investment in trillions of dollars is not belonging to an Arab or a Muslim. And they are living there peacefully and the economy is becoming buoyant. The present population of Nigeria needs no crisis. And what they exactly want is not attacking anybody, but trying to see how to rule very well and raise the economy and comfort of the people and live by the oath of office of those governing Nigeria today, that they will protect the life and property of the people. These are the major issues now. In the whole, I was an active participant under the James Elizabeth Palm Foundation. We sat with the Fulani leaders. We sat with the Brom leaders. All of them needed one thing called the peace. Peace and peace. The unfortunate thing is this week in the Nigerian dailies, one retired General Jeremiah Hosseini, a leader and a real leader in Plateau State, came out, a Christian in particular, Jeremiah Hosseini. He came out in the national dailies and said the problem of Plateau State is the present Governor Jan Andulomo. He gave various reasons, and these reasons are honestly blatant truths. And if they will do that, Nigeria will have the peace it requires, because the Jos crisis have given birth to many crises in this country, and this must be stopped, in my humble opinion.
Honorable Bitrus Kaze, you just heard what Alhaji said. He said, people need to be more accommodating. He mentioned, countries around the world that have opened up their borders and their businesses to strangers. As he mentioned, Dubai, where a lot of politicians, corrupt politicians, are building houses and buying properties. Not a very good example, but he's just telling you that maybe there needs to be more accommodation and there needs to be peace without looking at, a long string of history that is divisive. But you have, we watched you on Channels Television this week before we invited you. And you have very interesting opinions about this. Some of it you already listed today. Do you agree with him, what he just said, that this can be resolved if we take, say, Jonah Jang out of the picture?
Okay. First, let me correct a misrepresentation he made. Jos East is not Birom land. I guess he wanted to refer to Jos South when he was saying local government that have that they belong in dominance in talking of population.
Yes.
And then also, he made reference to countries where people are accommodated and accepted, and they are integrated into society, and they become part of the society without any kind of segregation whatsoever. Well, in such countries, it is those that come, assimilate, they mingle with and accept the host culture. They don't keep themselves separate. They don't reject the culture of the host. They don't look down on the hosts. And I wish to ask him, if I stay in Kano, say for 100 years, for 200 years, would I ever become the emir of Kano? Would I, a native of Plateau State, haven't even become convert to Islam, go to Sokoto, settle for 200 years, and vie for the stool of the Sultan of Sokoto, I don't think that would be so. And so, like I said, his attempt to refer to the indigeneship issue has no place within the peculiarity of Jos alone. I mean, it is a national problem. But coming to the issues of our elder, our leader, our father, General Jeremiah Hosseini, it's quite unfortunate he made those statements. For me, it's very, very much in bad light, because if he says Governor Jang is just a problem in Jos and in Plateau State, was Governor Jang the governor in 2001? Was he the governor in 1994? Was he the one that led the jihadi wars? In any case, all I said about the record of late Sir Ahmadu Bello, he has not contradicted. He has not contradicted that historically we fought those wars and we were never subject of those wars. I mean, those are verifiable facts. And apart from that, Alhajis will remember that there have been several judicial commissions of inquiry headed by reputable judges, including Justice Bola Ajibola, a judge of international repute. They have established as to what is the cause and the remedy. And certainly none of them ever said, if Jang is taken out of the scene, it is the problem. In other words, it tells you that people are creating problems. People are fighting just because they don't want a person out of the system. The Constitution is very clear. It provides how you can elect and remove a governor, not by the whims and caprices of a few who have chosen to continuously create trouble just because they think they don't want him. And just responding once more to what General Jeremiah Hosseini said, is he then insinuating that all the killings that took place in Rion, all the killings that took place in Biladi and in Jos South, that they were just meant to ensure that Jang is booted out? Well, he said that only a particular section of Birom land wants Jang, that the other ones don't want him. Well, the killing went on in all the places that he claimed don't want Jang. Why would just because they don't want a particular person whom the people of Plateau State have so overwhelmingly elected?
So let's go to, hello Alhaji.
Yes, I'm hearing you. Go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to ask you, one of the things that is clear about this is the amount of weaponry that is available to all of these warring parties. Every time we hear Fulani fighters invading villages, burning them down, bombing them, where do they get the weapons from? You know, because you are talking about peace and you want peace, and it's understandable. But the truth is that there's war going on now, and without finding out where they get these weapons from, how the fighters are organized and trained, there is no way we can have peace if the fighters are not disarmed. Where do you think the weapons are coming from? And I'm not alluding to Fulanis alone, even from the other side, because you have also alluded to the fact that both the Fulanis and the Biroms are killing.
You see, the whole thing is, as elders, we must try not to go into areas we are not qualified to. But we are entitled to preaching peace between the two misunderstanding friends. That's the Biroms and the Fulanis. When it comes to weaponry, you see, nobody can say exactly, I am going to buy weapons. And by the time you buy it from, let's say, Lagos, before you come to Jos, there are several roadblocks. And the security should intensify their efforts in at least curbing the proliferation of these arms across Nigeria and everywhere. Like my friend Mr. Kaze said, if he lives in Kano for 100 years, he must never be the emir. He will not be allowed to be an emir of Kano. Even myself as a Muslim and as a Fulani, if I live in Kano for 1,000 years, I cannot be the emir of Kano. Never, because the hierarchy does not permit me to become. Now, I am from Bauchi State. Bauchi State is in the immediate neighbor to Plateau State. Let me take Mr. Kaze to a surprise that my first primary school teacher is his tribesman. He's called Malanjatau Chomo. He is now in Riyam. This is a father to me, and I respect him. His children were born with me in the same place. We grew up together, like Dong, Chundong, and many others. Now, this is a person I cherish, and I can't visit him now because of these problems in Plateau State. And Bauchi State in particular, NEMA, the National Emergency Management Agency, said it has, Bauchi State now is accommodating about 1 million people displaced from Plateau to Bauchi State. All these people across, whether Muslim or Christian, even the Igbos living in Bauchi, the Yorubas living in Bauchi have automatic indigenship without any segregation. This you can confirm from our governor. I think Mr. Kaze must understand one thing. The paramount thing is we are not now at the point of apportioning blame on anybody. But we must do whatever we must to do as leaders to get peace to everybody so that the economic growth of the environment will be there. But let me tell him to tell Mr. Jang that if I am the governor of Plateau State, I will have peace in Plateau State to reign in only 1 week. What I need to do as a governor is to summon all the religious leaders, to summon all the local chiefs and everybody, and tell them that now we as leaders, whether you are a chief, religious leader, religious preacher, you must guard your tongue and put Nigeria and Plateau State really in your heart and love it. And the only way you need to do, or the only thing you must do, is to say that a line must now be drawn. And from today, what I need is peace times peace. And whoever violates it, I will hold the chief in the area responsible for the breach of the peace. And we will all collectively sign agreement. From that date, I will also be apprehending whoever violates it. I will get him prosecuted.
Alhaji, let me quickly jump in there, Alhaji. Yes, because you are talking about decreeing peace into existence in the area, but we have also had a new dimension where Boko Haram is claiming that they have gotten fully involved in the Jos crisis. How do you bring Boko Haram to the table in this your peace process that you have just mentioned? To the extent that you can tell them to stop if they are involved? Or are we saying that Boko Haram is lying, that they are not involved, they are not fighting the jihad in the area?
I honestly have reserved comments on these issues because I am avoiding to say something.
All right, let us go to Honorable Bitrus Kaze on that. You know, what do you think about that?
Yes, Alhaji made an erroneous comment. He thinks I am a Biroman. I am not a Biroman, please. I come from Jos East, and it will interest Alhaji to know that Jos East was part of Bauchi State until 1976 when we joined our tribes brothers, the Afizers in Plateau State. And then also, you heard Alhaji very well. He is the one that has contended that indigeneship is not a matter at all. He even claimed, and I doubt if he's correct, that even Igbos and Yorubas are indigenous of Bauchi State. But he said that even if him, as a Fulani Muslim, lives in Kano 1,000 years, he cannot become the emir of Kano. I asked him, why are his fellow tribesmen, the Fulanis, having lived less than 80 years in Jos, want an emir for Jos? I mean, it is unfair, it is unjustified, and it is not good. Now, this issue of Boko Haram, honestly, I cannot establish any difference between Boko Haram fighters and Fulani fighters. All of them profess the same religion. All of them have the same tactics. All of them concentrate a lot on the Plateau because I think they hate Plateau people a lot. And it is not correct to say that the crisis in Jos and on Plateau State is just between the Biroms and the Fulanis. Well, a lot of my people from Jos East and some of us who are in Jos North too have been killed. A lot of Anabas have been killed. People killed in Yelwa. People were killed even in certain areas of Mangu, of Bassa. All these are not Birom-dominated local government areas. It is deceptive. It is not correct. It is not true that the crisis is just between Biroms and the Fulanis. It is simply that Biroms wield a lot of influence, and they believe that if they are able to hit the Biroman very well, all others will fall in line. And that is this complaint about the governor is very pretensive. They complain against the idea.
We don't have any much time to go. Who killed the Senator Datong Dalop and the majority leader of the Plateau Assembly? How did they die? Who do you think killed them?
Okay, I can precise answer to that. The late Senator Yang Danton, alongside other colleagues in the National and State Assembly, together with communities who had suffered serious killings in hundreds of numbers, went to bury those that had been killed. They wanted to give them a mass burial. Suddenly, there was gunfire from hundreds of suspected Fulani gunfighters. Now, what is a fact is this. The fact is that there was several gunshots. That is a fact. Secondly, that the several gunshots resulted to killings of not less than 20 people on ground. That is a fact. That it is because of those several gunshot fires that led to the killing of some people that dispersed the crowd. Everybody scampered. Some died out of gunshots. Others died because they got exhausted and lost the capacity to be able to endure the circumstances they are being subjected to. So whether it was out of exhaustion, whether it was out of gunfire, the fact remained that there were suspected Fulani raiders that came heavily armed, killing including even armed police and soldiers on ground. That one is not in doubt. Nobody can...
Let's round up here. Kaze Muda, do you think it is not too late for peace to reign without something more comprehensive than just calling traditional rulers? Do you think it's not too late? And if you think it is not, what do you think can be done immediately to end the bloodshed in the Plateau?
There must be goodwill from the government. There must be sincerity from the government. There must be openness from the government, and there must be a clear sense of purpose from the government. Then the peace in Plateau State will be absolutely automatic. That is my views. And on the Fulani side, it is good to unblock their blocked grazer reserves, open their cattle routes, pay them compensation. With this, I am very, very sure Plateau State will be the Plateau State I knew during my childhood.
Wow.
And
Alhaji. Honorable Bitrus Kaze, you seem to think that it's almost too late to resolve this by some token measure. Why do you think so, and how can this be resolved?
I appreciate your question. First, it is not correct to say that the governor or the government and people of Plateau State have not called for dialogue. I want to assure you that since I became member of the National Assembly in 2007, the governor and the government and people of Plateau State have been calling for stakeholders dialogue severally. They never honor the invitation, including our elder and our father and our leader, General Jeremiah Hosseini. I have never seen him honor government invitation for dialogue. But if he wants to prove me wrong, the governor, and I want to announce here, the governor and the government of and people of Plateau State have called for a stakeholders of all the stakeholders on the Plateau on Monday by 11 a.m. in Government House, Refuge Jos. I challenge Alhaji and the Fulanis and the Hausas and even General Hosseini to present himself for dialogue. We cannot dialogue when people refuse to come to the table of dialogue. In my view, there are two things that will end the violence in Jos: justice, honesty, and sincerity of purpose. There are several recommendations, judicial commissions of inquiry, over which government has produced white paper. What is happening on the Plateau is that the government that controls firepower, that is to say the federal government, lacks the will, the capacity, the courage to enforce what has been recommended. And my brother, like I said, if instead of enforcing the recommendations, you have given indicted person appointment to control the police, for Christ's sake, how do you expect the crisis to end?
You are referring to the current IG of police?
Definitely, yes.
All right. Well,
the current IG of police was indicted for killing, quote and unquote, thousands of Plateau citizens. And he was recommended for dismissal of all the over 400,000 Nigerian policemen. That was the one our president found worthy to give him the position.
Wow.
And during his predecessor, only few people were killed. Community leaders we are beginning to see community leaders dying under the command of the current man. We are not surprised.
Well, thank you so much, Honorable Kaze and Kaze Muda Nawal, for coming on our show today to discuss the Jos crisis. We'll be back to you, and we hope you make yourself available to talk about this. Kaze, I hope you go to the dialogue for Monday.
Let me hope so. And I'm always helping through the initiative, the PAM, Elizabeth PAM initiative. I always help on a roadmap, creating a very good roadmap to peace in Plateau State. I wish Plateau State well, and I wish every Fulani man well, every Brom well, and I wish Nigeria, my country, well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming. SaharaTV viewers, it has been Honorable Bitrus Kaze representing Jos East constituency in the National Assembly, talking about the Jos crisis, its history, the dimension, and where we are today. And Kaze Muda Nawal, who was Second Republic Commissioner in Bauchi State, we should correct that, who has been fighting and pushing for peace. And, well, we'll see where this takes us, and we'll be back.